about going through life.
Yeah,
Life be lifing.
Life does be lifing, but you know, life is great when you have somebody to do life with.
Yeah.
When you have the one to do life with, that knowing that he's going to be with you, he won't leave you or forsake you. He'll always be there, and that's a wonderful thing to know. You know?
Oh yeah.
A lot of people are like, "Yeah, I'll be there," and then something happens. They're like, "Yo, I'm out."
We're also a lot of times we forget that we're human, but at the same time, also having the right people around you, having the right coffee. You mentioned having the coffee bean around you, but having the right coffee beans around you.
Yeah, that stuff.
Yeah, because they say, you know, you're the sum of the five people you surround yourself with. So if you surround yourself with ancient people, most likely you're gonna be one of those ancient people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like
100%.
you know, I think we all learn that over time. And was it Jim Ron? I'm not sure if it was Jim Ron or John Maxwell. John Maxwell, I think it was Jim Ron. They said that life isn't a destination; it's a journey.
It is.
And like when you realize that it's not, you know, yeah, you're hitting, you have a place that you have a direction that you want to go, and you have a place, like you said before, visualizing what you want and the ideal life you want and like the things you want to accomplish, seeing it before it's there, which in turn goes back to faith, you know, living by faith and not by sight. But then like being able to see it. But like even though you hit that milestone, there's another spot after that. And you have, and it's a continuation. Your journey doesn't end until you die. Yeah. And you can die before you really die too, especially if you decide that, you know what, I'm exactly where I should be at, and I don't want to do anything else. So I think you can end up killing yourself a little bit that way too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And having a premature death. Especially if you don't want to go anything, you know.
No, 100%. You're right, man. Or if you're that person who's always complaining about life. Just always just sucks, blah 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 blah. I'll never get there. I'll never be as good as this person. I'll never do that. I'll never do that. Comparison is a joy killer. You know, and then also too, for speaking biblical, the children of Israel ruined their promise that God promised them because of their complaining.
Yeah.
Because they were getting ready to go into it, and they were like, "Oh, well, we might as well die. We might as well go back to Egypt. We might as well do this, blah, 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 blah." And God was like, "Okay, everything that you asked for, I'm going to give to you." So we got to be very careful about the words we speak. Yeah. Because our words create our world. Yeah. So if we're speaking that I can't do this, I can't do that, the best way I heard it was, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
I think Miles Monroe was talking about that. Yeah. When he was talking about, they had, after when they left Egypt, well, they thought they were free, but really they're not free, because then they still had to go through their battles either way. So he was saying you're not free when you're free, because you still have other battles to go. Yeah. And there's still a lot more after that. So.
Definitely, yeah. And then like I said, complaining again it prolongs your promise, really. Because again, if you think about it, you know, a lot of people say, "Oh well, they went through the wilderness and they were supposed to be there for 400 years, but it was only supposed to be like 11 days, something like that." Yeah. But because of their complaining, they're scared. They this, that, and the third. Instead of doing the things that God told them to do, it prolonged the situation through generations. Yeah. You know, and sometimes that's what happens to us. Like other generations have to suffer and struggle because of our choices, you know, that we made, or our parents made, or our parents made, you know, and that's why there's so many people living in poverty. Yeah. Because of the decisions and the words that were spoken from previous generations. Yeah. And then they speak it over the next generation. Yeah. The next generation. You ain't gonna never be nothing because your father was never nothing. Yeah. So that means you ain't gonna be nothing. Or your mama was never there, so that means you're gonna have a wife that ain't gonna never be there. Yeah. Whatever it is. And it's like, why are you doing that?
We create the life, or the life that we have. So like if you're always negative, You're not gonna have everything. And the thing is, it's not about being, oh my gosh, sunshine and rainbows all the time. It's not about that. It's about seeing the good, and at the time it's gonna be hard, but it's practicing, having those the attitude of gratitude, and practicing those things that allow you to be grateful for what you do have. And a lot of people, I always say this a lot of times, people, the 80-20 rule, people focus on 20% of what they don't have, and not realizing they have 80% of what they, they negate that whole 80%.
Yeah.
And that analogy goes on too. And another one, you talk about fear. Someone said fear is false experiences appearing real. So it's like, yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, so we sit there and we create, like when we have those conversations in our head, I do it. I'm not even, I'm learning to control that a lot of times too. But like we sit there and I'm not gonna go talk to this person because this, and this, and this, and this. And it never even happened. But because we put it in our head, that fear, it stops us from actually doing it. And then it stops us from receiving what we are supposed to receive.
Yeah.
And again, because we don't just break through that fear and just go ahead and do it anyways. Like you lose out on so much.
Yep.
And there's a lot of things that we lose out in life because we let fear take us over, we decide to say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna let that fear win. So it's a decision that we have to make.
Oh yeah.
Sit there and be like, you know what? I'm not gonna let fear win. I'm gonna continue to still do this. I'm gonna keep pushing for. I'm gonna start that business that people tell me I can't do. I'm not gonna wait. There is no perfect moment. I'm still gonna go out and do this, or I'm gonna go become this, or whatever it is. If you feel that you can make, like you said, whether you feel that you can or you can't, You're right.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like that's been a big part of the journey too, and just understanding that you gotta take the good and the bad, and you have to have that callous. You gotta build those calluses on your mind to where no matter what's gonna go on, everything's gonna work out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It may not be for me right now, but I know the next thing's gonna come. So a lot of times, yeah, that's a whole nother,
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely go into
another rabbit hole. That's another rabbit hole right there.
That's definitely something. Me, don't bother me one.
Yeah.
Faith is a muscle. It works better when you use it.
Yeah.
It gets stronger when you use it. It's endurance, like even like muscles, you are lifting weights and it hurts, but that hurt, as long as you're doing it right, means that it's working.
Yeah.
So sometimes when we're going through something and it might hurt, it's still working for your good.
Yeah.
Because lifting weights, it hurts, but it's working for your good. So faith, when you're going through something in that moment, sometimes it hurts because you can't see it. It's not fun. You ain't got no money. You just lost your job, you're transitioning, whatever it may be, but realizing, okay, I'm gonna stay here, I'm gonna trust in God, I'm gonna believe in what He's saying that I'm gonna do, instead of just sitting there and just waiting on Him, as we say, we look at that word, especially in the Bible, when they're talking about wait on the Lord, it's really speaking about not just waiting, but doing something while you're waiting, just like we look at a waiter, they're not just sitting there, they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna get money. Like, no, they're working to get that money. They're working to, get to where they need to be. And while they're working, they're also helping people at the same time. So that's what we should be doing when we're waiting on the Lord, continuing to encourage other people and continuing to, build up other people's faith as you build your own faith. So, yeah.
There's an analogy that people used to say, a saying, pray like it's up to God, but work like it's up to you or whatever. I forgot how they said it. But it's like, even though you pray for it, you still have to work for it.
Yep.
You know, so I don't know how
Yeah.
they say it right, but I know
I get-
somewhere
yeah,
somewhere
yeah,
around that line.
yeah,
You know what I'm talking
I
about?
definitely get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it's
you know?
I'm not saying don't believe. Some people think, oh, if I just pray for it, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
You can't. You gotta put what they say. Faith without works is dead.
Yes.
So at the
that
same
part.
time, you still have to you still gotta work
Put
for
in
it.
some work. Yeah.
You have to still continue.
Mm-hmm.
I want to buy a house. Okay, so you could pray for it, but at the same time, you have to sit there and actually work for it. They say once you make a decision, the universe aligns for you to get there or make things happen.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like once you make a decision, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go start that business. I don't know what everything's gonna take, but once you start it, like a lot of things tend to align with when you're working in it.
Yeah.
So you tend to meet people with my business. You know, people are inventory.
Mm-hmm.
And when I change my mindset, make a decision, hey, I'm gonna make my business work, and I have a lot of goals for this year, for next year.
Yeah.
Things tend to happen, like conversations tend to change around you, and you end up changing certain things. You start saying the right things, and you start having conversations, not even realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
So as you continue to work for it, you're attracting what you need.
Oh yeah.
You don't know what it is, but you're attracting it because you made that decision to do it and go forward. Like you said, walking by faith and not by sight. You know, there's other analogies you could say it as, but in general, you're walking the path because you're saying, hey, this is what I'm going to want. I don't know if this path isn't going to be straight. That's for sure. I think that's another issue people have. They think, oh, because I make the decision to go this way, if it doesn't go this way, it's not going to be successful. The path is like a river, winding and going everywhere, and you have to be able to be like water and flow with it and continue to go to understand that not everything's going to go the way you expect it. But once you make the decision to make something happen, and you're going to start working for it, and you keep praying and believing, and whatever it is that you do, you continue to keep working for it, it'll line up.
Yeah, definitely.
Not exactly the way you want it, but it'll definitely line up.
100%. Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. You know, your feet will never take you where your mind's never been.
Yeah, very true.
You know, because if you don't sit there and really begin to as the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain, but sitting there and dreaming about your lifestyle, you know, dreaming about your business, dreaming about your family, you know, dreaming about whatever you're dreaming about, like, how do you know what it looks like?
Yeah.
Like, if you're not trying to pinpoint something, how can you find it?
Yeah.
You know,
you don't know how you're gonna get there, but you gotta see it.
Exactly. You know, as long as you can understand what that destination is. Like, just like you said, that journey might be turn left here. Oh, bro, you turn here. Okay, now turn right. Okay, now you turn here. Okay, now let's do this instead, you know. But also too, I feel like if we know a lot of that, most likely we aren't gonna do it.
Yeah, if you know what you're gonna go through, you're not gonna do it. Exactly. You were like, I don't know if I'm gonna do that.
Go do all that. I gotta turn left. I gotta do that. I gotta run back. I gotta do this.
Yeah.
Just to make it a mile? Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, nah, that's way too much work.
What did it say that the dream is free, but the hustle isn't? The hustle pays. No, you gotta. No, the dream is free, but the hustle isn't.
Something like that.
Something like that. You get what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Like, I like it. Like,
Something like that.
Hey, if it's wrong, I like it regardless. Yeah, no, you're 100% right about that. Like, you know, dreaming is good, but putting in work is better. You know, it takes faith to have vision. Yeah. It takes faith to take that first step. You know, but you know, again, just like you said, a lot of people who sit there and wait on the Lord. Well, if it's in the Lord's will, you know, if it's this, if it's that, if it's that. But what are you doing to allow that to happen? Yeah. You know, because even if you're like, I think this is in the Lord's will, and the Lord's like, nah, no, that's not. Yeah. At least you made an effort to go that way, and it's like, okay, cool, let me go this way instead. You're right. You know, but. Man, it's important to do something. Yeah. Like sitting around doing nothing doesn't do anything for anybody. Yeah. You know, that is definitely a wonderful thing. I had another thought, but I don't remember the
So
thought.
why are you waiting for that thought to come back? You know, they say, we'll go back to your vision comment.
Yeah.
They say writing it down, make it plain. They say, but when you're creating a vision, you have to be as specific as possible. Because someone would say, oh, I want another house. And they get another house, and it's a small house. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not what they need, but it's a new house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or I want another car. It may not, yeah. Okay, what kind of car? What year do you want? You know, what is something that you want to get that? And being in the business with the people I'm with has made me see it even more. Being specific, you know, putting deadlines on it, putting, you know, giving it a date and be like, hey, you know, by this time or this time of this year, or whatever year it is, I want to have this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How much money do you want coming in? Or I want more money coming in. So if someone gives you $1, that's more money.
Yeah.
But when you put an actual number on it, that gives you a destination and an actual specific. So if I want $10,000 coming in every month, okay, so you need to write that down.
Yep.
And actually, you know, say, hey, I want $10,000 coming in. But if you don't put a date, you don't know if it's gonna be next year, next week, 10 years from now, whatever. Yeah. So
10,000.
But
you got it.
Yeah. So it's amazing when they really talk about vision, especially since we're about to go into the new year, and like really focusing on what you really want, and be specific as possible.
Yes. Very specific.
You know, like I have goals where I'm going to be financially free by the end of next year. So if you know, financially, what does financially free though mean? Financially free means I don't have to worry about my bills being paid. My debts, I'm debt free. I don't have to clock into a 9-to-5 job if I don't want to. You get what I'm saying? Like if I'm gonna clock in for somebody, it's because I want to, not because I have to. You know, I want to hit certain you know, milestones in my business to get that. I want to have certain things. So you got to be more specific on what you want and be clear about it.
Yeah.
Another thing they say is having a vision board. Or like my mom, she was very big on that and visualizing and having actual pictures. So she would go, there's a car that she wants. She would go to the car dealer, find the color she wants, the model, and all that stuff like that, and she'll take a picture in it.
That's smart. I need to do that. Yeah.
So you go and you go take a picture of the things you want, or go find it. And there's another lady online, I forgot her name, but she said like she wanted a certain body, so she cut the head off of the other body and she put her picture on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She wanted to be able to speak in front of like a big stadium of people, so she took a picture of someone speaking in the stadium and stuck her picture on there.
Yeah.
And then she ended up creating that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's so powerful, not just to have it, you know, in your head, but we have to write it down. And just as much as I'm talking about it, I gotta make sure I'm implementing that. I gotta go make sure I do that too.
Go back and take notes.
I need to go do that too. But it's amazing how we do visualize and we create the future we want. But if all you see is negative, I'm never gonna be off government assistance. I'm never gonna have a better job. I'm never gonna make this much money. You're killing yourself before you even start.
You're 100% right.
Yeah, whether you say you can or you can't, you're right.
You're right. Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, that's why I tell people. I know it can be annoying people when I tell them, but I'm like, it's very real. Your words carry weight.
Yeah.
Like, even though we can't see those words, like it travels. Their vibrations. There are these different things that it moves, you know. Again, we get very technical with it. Words are spiritual.
Yeah.
You know, we're spiritual beings in a natural world. Whether people believe that or not, we're very spiritual. So our words are very spiritual.
Yeah.
So that means the dreams that we dream, the thoughts that we have, those are, what's your phone ringing and everything? Like, that was funny.
It's his fault.
I guess so. You know, my phone's right here.
I don't care. I'm still saying it's your fault. It sounds better that way.
I've been a scapegoat all my life. But no, yeah, those thoughts, they have weight. Like, when we think certain things, that's why our lives happen a certain way that they do, because when we think those things, they're released into the atmosphere, they're released into the universe, and they begin to attract those things that we're saying. You know, again, if you want to get even technical or with it, that's not a word, but we're going to use it.
Want to get more technical with it? There you go.
No, or technical or
technical. Okay, there we go. Put that in your dictionary.
Please
right
do.
there.
Please do. Next to fascism.
My nizzle.
But yeah, if you want to get more technical with it, we say I am all the time, and we think about in the Bible that was one of the names of God. When Moses was speaking to God in Exodus chapter 3, around 13, 14, those verses, Moses was like, all right, I'm gonna tell your people that the God of their ancestors sent me to do this. And they're gonna say, who is that? And God said, tell them that I am sent you. And realizing that he used the words I am, comes to be and all those different things. And that's another rabbit hole we can really go down, but we don't got time for that.
I like rabbits too.
But yeah, it's a great rabbit hole. We'll definitely come back and visit that. But really understanding that, when you were saying that I am, it's connected to in the beginning when God created the world and he said, let there be. The Hebrew root word for I am and let there be are the same. The Hebrew root word for Yahweh, which is God's personal name, and those two are the same. So God gave a commandment, and the universe moved. It didn't question him, it moved. So when we say I am, because we're created in his image, we're really giving a command. I am tired. Okay, that's what you're going to be because you commanded that you're tired. I am broke. Okay, that's what you're going to be because you commanded. That's what you are. That's why, again, we got to be very careful about the words we use because they're very powerful. You command things into your life when you speak them. So I tell people there's no such thing as a joke.
Yeah.
Because you mean what you say.
Yeah.
You mean 100% what you say. So we got to be careful about the vocabulary that we're using. The things I catch myself quite often and be like, oh Lord, I didn't mean that. Like, hey, I said it, but I meant it this way. I meant it this way. Because again, you find yourself in very interesting predicaments because of these different things.